Finally, a proper charging indicator on a premium pair of active noise cancelling headphones. Look at this. When you plug them in with a USB-C cable, the 5 LED charging indicators start blinking one by one until it reaches a full charge. This makes so much sense. Why do I not see more of something like this in the market? It's been a while since I saw a product that's got almost everything right and makes your jaw drop. And so there are so many good things about these headphones and maybe a few bad things, or maybe not, which you'll find out in this video. But in terms of the look and feel, Sennheiser has put so much effort into making these stand out by creating a design that has the highest comfort and look great. And take this, has 60 hours of battery life with ANC on. The headband has this fabric-like material on the top that just speaks premium, and what I like about it is that it's wide enough to not strain the top of your head, but of course a good padded headband is essential to ensure comfort on the head. And so when I touch the headband, it feels very soft to my touch, to the point that at first I thought it's just hollow, but obviously it isn't. And so this is a big deal for me, and I'm sure for many of you guys, because the headband is super important. It has the style and premium feel, it's wide enough and padded well, and we have a telescopic adjustment with no levels or clicks, so it's very smooth. I usually prefer the levels with clicks because then I'd know exactly where my level is if I'm folding back the headphones or putting them back in the carry case. And speaking of folding, the Momentum 4 headphones aren't foldable unfortunately, but the ear cups are swivelable, is that a word, on either direction, so inward and outward. So that's nice to see that you can swivel them whichever way you like when you put them down or when resting them around your neck. Okay, it's time to talk about the ear cups. So for a lot of people, including myself, when they buy a pair of headphones, comfort has the highest priority, and this is the area where I think Sennheiser has failed to address a couple of things where I think will affect the comfort level for certain people. So when I hold any headphones just like this, I want to see a full tilt adjustment, and with these I think they're coming really close to it, like almost a 90-degree angle. That means that when you wear the headphones, it's not your head that's putting the ear cups to the right angle, but it's the proper tilt adjustment that's doing its job. Otherwise, for people like me who have a very sensitive jaw and neck, there might always be some pressure around the jawbone, but I'm happy to tell you that again, because they come really close to a full tilt adjustment, while I still feel this kind of pressure from the ear cups pointing like this, it's very minimal, and that even I can wear them for many hours. But the other not so great thing is that the ear cups are quite small if you have large ears, and they kind of fit my ears, but it's just a little tight, and I can feel the pressure around my ears. Now the discomfort is not unbearable, at least for me, but it's to the point that my ears sweat more than they should and feel itchy. But I still thought it's important to mention this to you guys. And I'll try to put the dimensions of the ear cups in the description box so you can check it out. But in terms of the padding of the ear cups, they're very cushiony, which is just what I want to see, only if they were a little bigger. And as I said before, I've been able to wear them for many hours. In fact, the first day I wore these headphones for 10 hours straight with the ANC on, and the next day when I checked the battery, it was 90%, so that's pretty darn good. Although after just a couple hours on the second day, the battery dropped down to 80%. So I don't know what's going on, but the first impressions were great in terms of battery life. Another great first impression I had, which by the way, you need to be a little nerdy to see, was that everything that needs to be plugged in is on the right ear cup, including the controls. Why do I care about the headphone jack and USB-C socket being on the right ear cup? Because most of us put our PC case on the right side like I do. My laptop has the headphone jack on the right side as well. So if I plug them in, then there's no cable in my way coming across. So just a small thing that I really appreciate to see. Here's something I didn't expect to see though. The audio cable is 3.5mm to 2.5mm type. So if you happen to damage the cable and you also happen to have a 3.5mm to 3.5mm audio cable lying around somewhere, which some of us do, then you can't use it and you'd need to get an adapter or a new cable altogether in that case. Speaking of which, the carry case is quite large since the headphones cannot be folded, but it's really solid and protective indeed. Plus, when you open it, you're gonna see an airplane adapter, which is always welcome. And there's this little place where you can even store some extra things if you want to. All right, what you've all been waiting for, the audio quality. I think what differentiates Sennheiser from some other brands is that not only do these headphones sound amazing to most people, but because they're highly musical, even an audiophile will probably appreciate them. At this price point and the fact that these aren't wired headphones, I really think you can enjoy listening to different genres, and in my opinion, these are really well tuned and balanced. The bass is punchy enough but lower than some other brands, especially sub bass, And even boosting the bass in the app doesn't make too much of a difference, and the EQ settings are also very limited. But again, this is the price you pay for getting a very balanced and well-tuned sound on a pair of wireless noise cancelling headphones. And of course, these headphones support aptics and aptics adaptive codecs. And another clever design from Sennheiser is that in the app you can see the codec in use when listening to something. But what about the active noise cancelling? Does it work? It's actually pretty good, and they have an adaptive ANC which automatically adjusts the level of ANC based on the environmental noise around you. And here's something interesting. You know, when the ANC chip starts working, it cancels out the noise by producing its own frequencies, and it is usually heard in the form of a very faint hum when you're in a quiet place. And with these, initially you won't hear a thing, which is awesome. But when you go to the app and turn off the adaptive ANC feature, which is by default on, then you can easily hear that hum. So I have a theory about this. I think since the hum can actually only be heard when in a quiet place, and at the same time when you turn on the adaptive ANC feature, if you're in a quiet environment, it doesn't crank up the noise cancelling intensity, hence you can't hear the hum. But when you're in a noisier place, I bet the ANC chip also produces the humming noise, but it just cannot be heard, which is very clever if this is the real reason. The ambient mode, or the transparency mode, is also pretty good, and I really like how the sound comes through as natural. And of course, both the ANC and transparency modes can be activated on the headphones and the app. And now's a good time to talk about the controls on the headphones. As you can see, there's only one single button on the right ear cup. So that means everything else is controlled by touch. And to be honest with you, the touch control on these is just amazing, and without a doubt, absolutely one of the best I've ever seen. So take this. When you double tap on the right ear cup, it switches between the ANC and transparency modes, but this is really brilliant. You can even control the intensity of ANC and transparency on the ear cup by basically pinching and stretching. Think about it, it's like you're closing and opening a filter. How amazing is that? That's design thinking. And apparently there are 5 levels between the highest ANC and transparency mode intensity. The only problem, in my opinion, with the first way of doing it, which is double tapping, is that if you're listening to something, it pauses it. The other touch controls you can do is playing, pausing, going to the previous and next tracks, and even changing the volume. And doing these actions, I've never missed a touch control attempt even once. And that single button that you saw does so many things. Like if you hold it for 3 seconds, it'll turn on and off the headphones. If you hold for 5 seconds, it goes to pairing mode. And if you press it twice, it tells you how much battery is left. And if you press once, it starts your voice assistant of choice. And if you're in a call, pressing it once will mute you. It's just unbelievable how many things you can do. Some of the other interesting features of these headphones are smart pause when you take off the headphones, and of course it resumes back once you put them back on. Multi-point connectivity, which has been working great for me, and auto on and off feature, which I love. There are many other headphones that have the auto off feature, but not so many have the auto on feature. So I don't even need to do anything. Just pick up the headphones and they're instantly connected to the last Bluetooth device.
Connected.
And here's a feature where for some folks, when they hear it, they're like, I'm sold. And that's the fact that you can plug the USB-C cable to charge and at the same time still use the headphones, including the noise cancelling feature. And if you connect the cable directly to your PC, you can not only charge the headphones, but also listen to the music directly using that cable. So you don't even need to have the audio cable plugged in. That's an amazing feature. So now let's do a proper sound check near a very busy street.
So earlier I said that this double tapping the side of the ear cup doesn't make sense because it pauses whatever you're listening to, but now I think it actually makes sense because then you can, when you're listening to something and it's on ANC, then when you double tap, then it goes to transparency mode, and then you can, the music pauses, so then you can talk if you want to talk with someone.
And then an update about the adaptive ANC. When it's a little windy, I noticed that
the adaptive ANC just works a lot, so it just kind of increases the intensity and then decreases on a continuous basis, so all the time. That wasn't very pleasant to hear, but let me know what you think of the mics, and share this video, and if you haven't subscribed, and watch these 2 videos next.